then use impostering to draw that render target to your actual scene. And you can draw the characters running around and doing explosions and all your gameplay over the top. And then you only need to bother recreating that render target if the camera rotates. So it's kind of like caching. Skinned effect is for drawing characters that move. That's fairly obvious. The way this works is that you have to write C# code that animates the bones for the skeleton of the character, which runs on the CPU. If you're not familiar with doing that, go to the creators.xna.com website, where we have some samples that show you how to do things like blending between two different animations. Once you have that playback code, you end up with a list of matrices, and you hand these to the skinned effect shader, which plays back the animation entirely on the GPU. It supports up to 72 bones within a character, and it supports either 1, 2, or 4 weights per vertex. And that controls how many different bones can affect a single part of the skin. So with just 1 weight per vertex, you don't get really to flex like that. You just get robot-style animation where arms do that. With 2 bones, 2 weights, you can make more detailed, kind of more fluid-looking skin animations. 4 weights, great looking. But it costs a little more. You can see from that table that 4 bones costs 13 more vertex instructions than if you had just 1. And this shader uses the exact same lighting model as Basic Effect. So you have the same choices of 1 light is faster than 3 lights, and vertex lighting is faster than pixel lighting. So I'll show you this guy on the device. This is a character model being animated using the skinned effect shader. You can see I can rotate around him in real time. And he's playing back that animation. This guy is using 3 vertex lights and I think 4 bones per vertex. The final shader I'm going to talk about is environment map effect. The way this works, it uses a thing called a cube map, which is a special texture that's made out of 6 textures which form the sides of a cube. So you can imagine that that encases the object that's in the center of it and can describe what its surroundings look like. So this shader looks up a base texture map, and then it also looks up a reflection cube map. This is a great way to make things look shiny and reflect their environment. It's also a great way to fake lighting that looks more complex than it really is. I'll show you this guy in action with a few different options. So this is a photo I took last year, I think, when I was on vacation in Oregon. This UFO thing came down and hovered above the coastline, and it looked exactly like that. So I'll turn the environment mapping off completely first. So that's the model with its base texture. It's not shiny at all. Using the environment map control, not that one, let's get the right one, I can turn up the environment map. So you can see now none of the texture is showing at all. It's just the cube map, and it looks totally reflective, chromium, shiny. That's great if everything in your game is made out of metal or mirrors. Realistic objects tend to be kind of somewhere in between. So for that, you want this control called Fresnel. What Fresnel shading does, it simulates the way light behaves when it hits shiny objects in the real world. So if you have a surface like this and light hits it at that angle, it mostly just bounces off, and you see the color of the surface, not the color of the reflection. But when you have a glancing angle, if light comes at this angle, then it all just reflects straight off the surface, and you tend to see more reflection. You'll see this if you look at a wet road or look at some water. If you get your eye really down low to the surface, you'll see a totally different kind of reflection. So if I turn up the Fresnel control, you can see that in action. Now, when the UFO rotates so that it's facing straight towards the camera, you don't see really any reflection of its surroundings at all. But when it goes like that so that it's edge on and you're seeing its underbelly, it's much shinier just at those angles. The other thing you can do with this shader, apart from making things look shiny and reflective, if you turn up the specular control, that makes it look like it's being surrounded by many, many lights. And what this is doing, it's taking the alpha channel out of that cube map texture and just adding that to the surface. So whatever pattern I draw into that alpha channel is going to look like it's the lights around me. For the one I'm using here, I just drew a load of dots. I just loaded the cube map into Photoshop, and I just chose a little circle tool and went bing, 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 bing. I draw maybe 30 of them. So you can see it has all these little bright highlights, like it's being lit by many, many lights from different directions. I could draw big streaks and different blobs to get all kinds of different lighting effects. So when you're thinking about...
So I'm going to stop it there. I just want to give you a kind of a visual perspective on some of the different 3D acceleration capabilities. They're going to be built into the device and supported with the development platform, and extensible too. So that's some of the things, like figuring out how we can support other platforms in that environment. I don't have too much more to go here, and then I'll give away prizes, and you can get back to work. I'm going to skip over these slides, which I included here just so when we post the presentation, it'll be available. I actually don't know much about the media piece. I included a couple of the slides here from the presentations because it kind of goes through what's supported, what types of audio files are supported, some sample code, and how to implement that. And I think I just want to include that so people know, get an idea on adding sound to their games, which of course is an extremely important piece. And by the way, every Windows Phone is a Zune, but natively. So if you buy a Windows Phone device, you can get a Zune account, or you can just rip your CDs to your PC or something and dump your files onto your phone and listen to it. Call to action again. These are the tools. Developer.windowsphone.com. We're starting to work with a lot of the game platform vendors, so we'll start to support this more natively with the tools that are out there, like Wild Pockets. And if you are interested in building a game or have built a few games, certainly I'd like to hear about it. I know the team, there's a store that you can publish your games to. So there's a standard, Windows application store. It's going to be part of the native navigation of the phone. Surprise, surprise! What a great idea. You think somebody would have thought of that before us? No. But it will be a global store. Pretty much, it's got a nice infrastructure for publishing directly to the store and getting your apps out there. There's kind of a test cycle as well to make sure that the apps that are going on the store are stable. And these are the tools. So that's it. So now games. Any questions, or I can, yes. It's, I don't know exactly, and I actually just went through a lot of the store content. It wasn't clear to me. It's going to be similar likely to the Xbox Live experience, or the Zune experience, because they're using the same payment infrastructure on the back end. So I can buy, essentially in that infrastructure, you buy points, then you use points, which is a pretty standard approach. The reason that is because of currency translation, and you can. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, so you buy points, and then once you have points, you can spend them in the store and get like in Zune, it costs like 10 points to buy a song. So there's kind of a standard global translation. They'll become the new currency, benchmark. Yes? Other sessions on Windows Phone? There's a bunch of sessions here at Mix 10, so there's a bunch of sessions online. If you see at the bottom of these slides, it says Mix 10. If you just Bing Mix 10 or even Google Mix 10, then you can get to the site and actually see that almost all the videos from that conference are online. And similar in that format that I was showing you there, they're really pretty high quality, a lot of the videos. They are going to be running some sessions around. If you go on to the developers.windowsphone.com, and you register, you'll get notified. There's kind of like a behind-the-scenes club you can join. And if they're in town, for example, doing a game jam or something, then you can get notified that there's events. A lot of the Windows Phone team, the application guys, are here in San Francisco. So there's some activities around, and they'll probably be here since this is our primary conference center. So keep your eyes open. There probably is going to be more stuff coming out there. There's I don't have a date. It's Christmas season, holiday season. So it's the goal, of course, and there's a lot of pressure, as you can imagine, to get the phone ready and available. They're starting to build up application pipeline now, so you can actually download these tools. The development tools that come here on developer.windowsphone.com include a phone emulator, so you can do all your kind of layout. You can do your testing. It's actual hardware emulation. So when you're running the emulator, it's actually running a virtual machine that is the phone.